Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So this week at Troptions, we've had an amazing partnership with a bank, I think in Indonesia. Yes. Called BAT Bank. And I think a lot of beautiful things are yet to happen. So if you're listening in right now and you are excited about Troptions Unity and what is being built up, ladies and gentlemen, there is an amazing partnership with BAT Instrument Bank International that just had an amazing partnership with the Troptions in regarding to building Troptions platform, Troptions trading platform, which is going to be so amazing, and the DEX that is going to be used to exchange all Troptions tokens, interchange all Troptions tokens, and also of course with USDT, with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, with Solana and several other cryptocurrencies. So if you have been holding Troptions coins from all those past years where you didn't have a direct exchange to interchange Troptions tokens within themselves, and also to exchange it into USDT or Bitcoin or Solana, this time around a DEX is being built at Troptions. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for you, and you should definitely get ready and see how everything works out in that particular field. I think I'll be making another podcast to discuss about the Troptions DEX in a very few. All right, welcome back. You are listening to this episode, and I want you to slow down with me for just a moment, not because this is motivational and not because I'm about to sell you a dream, but because crypto right now in 2026 is going through something that most people completely miss while staring at charts. So this episode is not about price. This episode is not about the next 100x, and it's definitely not about hype. So this is about a shift, a quiet shift, and also a structural shift that is happening in the US. My name is Daniel Leinhardt. I'm a writer, I'm a researcher, I'm a OneCoin fraud survivor, and someone who learned crypto the hard way by losing money, by watching lies travel faster than the truth, and by spending years trying to understand what real utility actually looks like. And today I want to take you to talk to you about why tokenization, I think, is no longer a buzzword. Because last week, the former Binance CEO Cozy was saying that tokenization is now the new kid on the block. And I think that statement actually matters. It matters far more than most people realize. And I think this is a phrase, this is a step where meme coins, the narrative coins, the empty promise coins are actually quietly running out of oxygen, because crypto is now growing up. And most growing up phases, it isn't actually loud, it isn't flashy, and it doesn't reward excitement, but it rewards patience. Let me start personally, because I don't believe you can understand this shift unless you've felt the pain of the old model. When you look at what happened in 2016, I lost my family's savings in one coin. At the time, it didn't feel like a scam. It felt like an innovation, an opportunity. It felt like certainty. It felt like being in early. And that's the danger of hype-driven systems. They don't look fake in the beginning. They look confident. They look inevitable. But what OneCoin taught me was actually, and also what Platinum Coin taught me, it is that hype can exist without infrastructure, without transparency, and without real economic activity underneath it. So for years that after, I didn't trust crypto. I felt like something is missing here. I tried to go off crypto ladder, do physical businesses, and be off crypto for some time. But then I think crypto was always my calling. Then I studied it, and slowly, painfully, I began to see the difference between speculation, pretending to be innovation, and systems that quietly move value through real-world activity. That distinction matters now more than ever, because in 2026 right now, crypto is no longer fighting to exist, but it is fighting to be useful. So when Cozy recently spoke about tokenization, many people brushed it off as just another trend comment, because it was actually a video. But Cozy didn't speak lightly. He has seen every cycle. He has seen ICOs, he has seen DeFi summer, he has seen NFTs, he has seen memes happen. He has seen a lot of collapses, recoveries, regulations. So when somebody like that says tokenization is the new kid on block, what is he really saying in this? He's saying that actually crypto is no longer about creating new coins, but he's saying that crypto is now about representing real economic activity and on-chain. And that's a completely different game. That is a very completely different game, because tokenization at its core, it's not about turning everything into a token just for fun, but it's about mapping value. It's about real value into digital systems that can actually move faster, that can move cheaper and more transparently than traditional rails. So in earlier in earlier cycles, the tokens represented hope. And then in this tokenization cycle, tokens are starting to represent participation. To represent participation in payments, participation in services, participation in commerce, participation in humanitarian flows. So that's why asset tokenization matters in 2026. Not because it sounds futuristic, but because it solves boring problems. And boring solutions are usually the ones that actually last. So boring problems are for boring solutions for boring problems. So when you tokenize an asset or a service, you are not promising future riches, but you're recording present activity. You're turning usage, you're turning access or contribution into something that is now publicly measurable. This is where most people misunderstand tokenization, in my own perception. They think it's about speculation, but it's actually not. Because tokenization is about accountability. Tokenization is about traceability. It's about aligning initiatives between users, platforms, and also systems. So instead of saying trust us, tokenized systems say watch what is happening and join us if you think it is actually into your interests. And this is exactly why the United States crypto market in particular is quietly changing its behavior. American users in 2026, they are tired. They are tired of rug pulls. They are tired of narratives. They are tired of being exit liquidity for insiders. What they want now is super clarity. They want to understand what a token does without reading a white paper 3 times. They want regulatory survivability, and most importantly, they want to feel that a token exists because something is actually happening, not because somebody is promoting it. This is where hype coins begin to collapse under their own height. Hype coins rely on attention. Utility tokens rely on activity, and that is a very, very complete distinction, because attention is actually fragile. And when you look at activity, it is compound. Okay, we've already seen this play out. Each meme coin cycle burns brighter and dies faster. Each wave attracts fewer serious participants, and aftermath is always the same. Silence, abandonment, abandoning communities, and people asking how it all went wrong. What went wrong is simple. Because nothing was moving underneath. There were no services, there were no transactions, there were no demands. It was just belief, and belief eventually runs out. So in contrast, tokenized utility doesn't explode, but it builds. Slowly, it builds something painfully, and often without applause. And that frustrates speculators, but it attracts real users. So tokenization is not magic, and it doesn't eliminate risk. It doesn't guarantee adoption, but it does something far more important, because it aligns crypto with real economic behavior. And once that alignment starts, hype becomes unnecessary. Because value is no longer comes from belief, but it comes from real use. So this is what people mean, often without realizing it. When they say crypto is maturing, maturity doesn't mean the end of opportunity, but it means the end of shortcuts. So in the early days, you could launch a token with nothing behind it, and it still becomes a success. But right now in 2026, that window is closing. Now tokens are expected to represent something, either a service or a flow or an ecosystem. And if they don't, the market eventually ignores them. So don't think about having a well-designed website with amazing wordings and we expect people to join in. Oh my goodness. So fatigue from broken promises are noticed, fatigue from hype circles are noticed, and fatigue from the noise is no longer wanted. This is why utility-based crypto feels quieter, because it's not chasing attention, but it is serving users. And users don't shout, but they return. So this shift doesn't mean memes disappear. It doesn't mean speculation ends, but it does mean speculation loses its dominancy. The center of gravity moves from price to purpose, from belief to behavior, from hype to utility. And this is where I want to be very honest with you. Tokenization is directionally correct, but it is not instant because adoption takes time, liquidity matures slowly, regulatory interpretations differ across regions. Some tokenized systems will fail, others will struggle quietly for years before finding traction. So this is not a fairy tale, but it is building an infrastructure. But infrastructure is actually how systems survive. So in 2026, the most important crypto tokens are not the loudest ones, but they are the ones that are quietly representing real economic activity. They don't promise the moon, but they record the movement. They don't ask for belief, but they earn the relevancy. Okay, so if you're listening to this and wondering where you fit in, as an investor, as a builder or a user, my answer is simple. You should stop asking what might pump, but start asking what already works. You should stop chasing narratives, but you should start observing behavior. Because crypto doesn't need more excitement, but it needs more usefulness. And that's what tokenization represents. Not a trend, not a buzzword, but a sign that crypto is finally growing up. And growth, real growth, is rarely allowed. So ladies and gentlemen, are you excited about the tokenization of real world assets? Real estate assets that is happening at Troptions Unity, at Troptions ecosystem? Let me know what you think. If you want to learn about Troptions and Troptions Unity, please listen to more podcasts on this platform, the Crypto Investor Podcast, Investor with an A. You can also read amazing articles at www.cryptoinvestor.com. Follow me everywhere on Instagram. See you soon in the next episode.